I built the world's smallest tiny house by square footage, 19.46 square feet.
Inside.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
our insulation. This is gonna be the kitchen.
G, what up? Brad the Realtor. Today I'm checking out some of these tiny homes.
From the
I saw a viral
140s.
video.
I don't think people realize how much things have drastically changed in just a few years. Because in 2026, there are actually people choosing to live in sheds instead of apartments or houses. And this isn't a trend or a joke. It's becoming a real response to how expensive housing has gotten. Even the cost of simply existing is pushing a lot of people to rethink what normal living even looks like. And the craziest part is this is starting to feel like the new normal. So in this video, we're breaking down why this is happening, what it says about the housing situation right now, and how we even got to a point where this is even a discussion. As usual, I'll be reading some of your comments in today's video, so if you want to be in the next one, definitely make sure to drop your thoughts down below.
I built the world's smallest tiny house by square footage, 19.46 square feet, totally off-grid. You can see the solar panels up there, and it's on a trailer. Take it anywhere you want to go. Walking inside, let's see how I fit everything in here. There's a seating area here to the left. Underneath, we have your AC and heating units, and it comes out of this little vent right there. And then on the other side is a battery bank for the solar panel, and that's how everything in here gets plugged in. Up here is your kitchen. We have a mini fridge right there for some drinks. Here's your sink. Open this up, and it unfolds. Check this out. Running water, so we'll show.
I am so confused. Where does one sleep? Are we sleeping on a bench? Or do you sleep in the car or the truck that's towing it and then use this as a living space? I am very confused right now.
That back up for more countertop space. We fill up your water right there. Underneath, we have our water tanks, and you can have a little grill, electric grill to take out and put up there if you need to. You're wondering about the bed situation? Well, it is up here.
Oh.
It folds down, and it can fit somebody that's 5'10" or shorter. So we'll take a step out of
5'10" or shorter. Dang. I don't know who is 5'10" or shorter. I just happen to be 5'11", so I guess I'm going to have to sleep with my knees bent. Dang it.
this, and you might be wondering about the bathroom situation.
Yeah.
The outdoor shower's right here. Set this up like so and turn on the water, and you got yourself a little shower. We'll close that back up when we're done. And you might be wondering about the toilets. Well, there's a small storage area in the front right here. And you can take the lid off. The toilet is stored in there, which is now right behind me. You can go and use the bathroom in nature anywhere you want, and it does flush. Check this out. Pump this up. And that is the world's smallest tiny house by square footage. What do you guys think of this?
I'm going to be honest. I don't know exactly how I feel about it. I don't think it beats living in an apartment, to be honest with you. Or at this point, if you are going to do some off-grid living of some sort, just get a van. I feel like most vans at this point have bathrooms inside of them where you can shower or, at the minimum, use the restroom. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's cool in theory, but the fact that, like, going to the bathroom and showering has to be done outside makes this kind of not realistic, in my opinion. It looks really nice. Don't get me wrong. It looks phenomenal. The inside is so minimalistic and modern that it just, you know, it passes a lot of the aesthetic tests, but the fact that it's only seasonal kind of pisses me off. What if it's cold outside? You know, what if it's the middle of the night? I now need to go and relieve myself in a parking lot exposed to the elements? I don't think so. Super quick, guys, we are so close to hitting 100,000 subscribers on the channel. Just a couple thousand more. And the quicker we hit it, the quicker I can give away $1,000 to one lucky subscriber on the channel. Hopefully it goes to paying off somebody's debt, student loans, rent, groceries, bills, whatever the cost may be. Also, I've recently started a Twitch channel, so if you guys want to hang out with me live and I can react to some of your comments in real time, then definitely make sure to follow me on Twitch by clicking the link down below. I can barely hear her. But they bought a shed.
This is a cutie little porch. Ignore all that.
This is more of a tiny home than that other thing could ever dream of becoming.
Inside.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
our insulation. This
It's empty.
is gonna be the kitchen. And then there's a loft up there for storage. This is where our TV is going to go. This is going to be the living room. And we're not sure about the rest yet. Obviously a bedroom and a bathroom and a closet somewhere. So this is all we have so far. We just did the fence. And yeah, this is a 14 by 40 shed.
14 by 40 shed.
Big once we're inside.
It is huge.
But I'm standing in the kitchen right now, where the kitchen's going to be. But we're about to get started on the floor plan and all the framing and everything. So I'll have more updates later.
You know, I honestly didn't even know they built sheds that were that big. It's almost like this is starting to become like the new thing where people, like these manufacturers, are just making like XL size sheds because they know people are going to live in them. I didn't even think you're allowed to do that, but here we are. But the thing that really pisses me off is that this is becoming the new normal. That we, like, your kids are going to grow up and instead of like saving up for a house, they're going to save up for a shed to live in because that's what we're going to tell people. Go to school, go into debt, take out tons of student loans, and maybe one day if you save enough money, you can go shed shopping for your next place to live. That's what really pisses me off. Like, where did we go wrong that this is the new normal? Anywho, I wanted to read a couple of comments that you guys had left on my new homes are still falling apart in 2026 episode. If you guys haven't seen that video, highly recommend you do because it's absolutely insane. The quality of the actual houses that are being built over the past couple of years. So it actually might make more sense to go buy a shed so you can see it and build it yourself, you know, from the ground up. You can be the one to customize it instead of these, you know, crappy builders. Somebody says, tiny homes, the biggest scam ever. What do you guys think about that? See, it's annoying to me because I don't think like 30 years ago, 40 years ago, this would have ever been a thought. Like, it would have been a shed. A shed's a shed. That's where I'm going to store my lawn tools. Not, yeah, maybe, just maybe, I might live in this. This might be my house.
Behind me is a shed, and I live in this shed. So come on, let me show you how terrible it is to live in a shed. Oh, hey boo-boo. This is what you walk into. I know. It looks like a shed, right? You can only have 1, 2.
I got a question. Since we're calling it, well, I mean, this is a shed, but since we're on the topic of tiny homes, where do tiny homes fit into like mobile homes, manufactured homes, houses, townhomes? Like, where in the line is it? Is tiny homes a fancy way of saying a manufactured house? Like a mobile home? I'm really curious.
3 fish tanks in my shed. I have my Malibu in my shed, and my Suki, a full-size fridge, oh, and a freaking jungle. Oh wait, there's more. Wait a second. Evan, scratch that. There's gonna be 4 fish tanks. More plants, more plants, more plants. Just look at that leaf. And more plants. So why do we build a tiny house? Let's cuddle, cover up, and talk about it. So you see, I'm 23.
We're never going to do this on this YouTube channel. You got that? Don't ask me. Don't get the thought out of your head. I don't even know if I can watch the rest of this right now. This is never going to happen. But putting that aside, let's hear why he's living in a tiny home. Or sorry, in a shed.
I wasn't interested in a mortgage, and I didn't want to owe anybody anything. So Evan and I built a house. Yeah, it might be smaller, but going small had a lot of advantages. A smaller space means the stuff that we put in it could be a lot nicer. I mean, just take a second to look at that ceiling.
It is nice.
That is nice. Next, Evan and I have a lot of hobbies. Farming, plants, fish, art. Like widowery, too many hobbies. So smaller house, a little less money. So less money here means that we can live bigger elsewhere, especially with the stuff that makes us happy. But yeah, everything that you saw in this video, we built. We did the electrical, all the plumbing. All my years building forts as a kid really paid off. It was honestly like building a clubhouse. Like, it could blow up, do your research, but it was really fun. Anywho, I love my tiny house. I think it's the best thing I've ever done.
I swear, one of the most humbling experiences is moving into what you think is a nice apartment, and then you see a bug the size of a small dog run across the floor, or on the toilet paper roll when you're in the middle of doing your business. Trust me. Now, if you know what palmetto bugs are, great. If you don't, well, don't look them up. Seriously. When I lived in Florida, even in my newer apartment complex, I still got them sometimes. Sugar ants, palmetto bugs, all of it. And honestly, the apartment pest control was essentially useless. They'd spray for like 30 seconds and the bugs would still be there. So eventually, I just had to take matters into my own hands. And even now, here in North Carolina, I still get random bugs every once in a while, which is why today's sponsor actually came in clutch. Pesty. What I like about Pesty is it's basically professional grade pest control without needing random companies constantly showing up at your house or charging you hundreds of dollars. And honestly, I'm really not a huge fan of random strangers walking all around my apartment either. I'd rather just handle it myself in like 10 minutes and be done with it. The best part is Pesty starts at just $35 per treatment, which is way less than traditional pest control companies. They usually charge somewhere between $100 and $200 per visit. Pesty sends you a customized treatment based on your location, weather, season, and the specific bugs you're dealing with. And the kit comes with everything: professional grade pesticide, a sprayer, mixing bag, gloves, and step-by-step instructions. The whole thing takes less than 10 minutes. And I'll throw some footage of me on screen using it because honestly, it's way easier than I expected. The biggest thing for me is just prevention, because one bug turns into like 10 bugs and then 10 turns into 100 really quick if you ignore it. It also gets rid of over 100 different bugs, ants, spiders, roaches, all that stuff, and it's kid and pet friendly when used as directed. So if you're tired of bugs invading your apartment or house like I am, then check out Pesty. Scan the QR code you see somewhere on the screen or click the link in the description of today's video to get an extra 10% off your first order. Again, huge thanks to Pesty for sponsoring today's video. I mean, if you really think about it, it's not like the worst idea. It's pretty smart. Like, he's debt free. He doesn't owe anybody anything. He has no mortgage. I guess you just have to find a lot of land. I really would not want to put this right next to another person living in a tiny house. I'd get pretty pissed. That's like getting the shit end of the stick twice. You know what I'm saying? And we've made videos on this in the past, and it pisses me off a lot. Like, new construction is horrible in 2026. In one of those episodes that we made, there was a video where they were putting up like tiny home blocks. They'd clear a plot of land, knock everything down, not a tree in sight, and they would put up tiny homes next to each other, but you would still get no property. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can understand like dealing with the cards we're dealt in this society and you know, in this economy, having, you know, everything being so expensive that if we're going to try to maximize our money and make our money go further living in a tiny home. But if I got to deal with a neighbor right next to me on either end, I'm just going to be pissed. It's really getting the shit end of the stick like twice. I don't really want to live in a tiny home. That's not my first choice. And I really don't want to live on top of my neighbor who's also going to be butthurt and mad because he's living in a tiny home as well. Now, there is a certain freedom that you do gain from not having any debt and owing nobody anything. So I do understand what he's saying. Granted, I don't own my own house, but I do live in an apartment and I am paying that monthly. But it would be a goal of mine. Can you just imagine having a paid off house, tiny house or a regular sized house, and having no mortgage? The only thing you'd have to worry about is like the bills and utilities that you use and property taxes, which is a scam. We could talk about that another day. But you'd have so much like excess cash, ideally, that you could really live a comfortable, nice life.
I bought this shed to live in, and here's how it's going, part 2. My goal of making this a tiny house and living debt-free is looking more possible every day. Once we finished hanging the sheetrock and building the ceiling, we decided to check out what was going on with the solar panels. We checked the batteries and the panels and figured out that the inverter burned out from being too hot in the loft over the summertime. So we went ahead and hung these Walmart lights just to make it look a little bit better. We finished working on the floor for a little bit and decided to start working on the loft. We decided to use this foam board insulation because it was just a lot easier to handle in such a small space. And then we added the carpet. It was around this time that I moved into the tiny house temporarily, and it went through a couple different variations. At one point, point, we even decided that we were going to see what it would look like if we extended the bathroom onto the front porch, but it didn't take very long for me to realize that wasn't a good idea. I really didn't want to compromise the view I had from the front porch because honestly it was one of my favorite things about the design. So now unfortunately we're starting over with the bathroom design and we're trying to figure out what we're going to do next. So if you have any recommendations, please feel free to let me know, because honestly this project's a lot harder than I was expecting it to be. But I'm really grateful for all my new followers and the community I'm growing here.
I mean, I got to hand it to him. It doesn't look too bad. However, what I'm starting to realize, I'm starting to see what's going on here. So I grew up in the suburbs, and there's absolutely no way, shape, or form you are going to be able to build a tiny home. It's illegal. The zoning laws and everything, the rules and restrictions, no shot you are able to put that in your backyard or on any sort of land. You're too close to neighbors. It's not possible. But what I'm starting to realize is these are people that live on farms or out where their parents have land, and they're just building a tiny home on their parents' land to save money instead of living somewhere else, which is actually not a bad idea. It's a pretty good idea because you could save a lot of money very quickly when you don't have rent or living expenses, if you know what I mean. And why I bring up the suburbs is because people are already doing this just in a different way in the suburbs. Instead of putting a large, extra large shed, on your property, what people are doing is converting either their basements or their garages into like a second living space. Either they're putting an egress window in their basements and converting it into a livable area, maybe like a mother-daughter, and their grown adult children somewhat are living in the basements with their parents to save money in the suburbs. I know a lot of people that are currently doing that, and it saves them a lot of money. Is it my first choice? Absolutely not. But you got to do what you got to do. If you save up a couple $1,000s over a couple of years, you'd have a pretty nice down payment to put towards a house, and you can get out of this. Consider this temporary living. See,
IG, what up?
I forgot I put this in this video. I totally forgot, but this is the nonsense that I'm talking about.
The realtor today, I'm checking out some of these tiny homes. I saw a viral video
from the
on these
140s.
The other day, and the comment section was
Lennar
absolutely brutal.
Homes.
They're making fun of people for buying these and yada yada yada. Personally, I'm not sure how you can make fun of somebody for investing in themselves and their future. I think that's kind of ass backwards. Make fun of the people who are not doing that. So I took it upon myself to show up today.
Sorry,
just how nice.
It's all coming biasly from a realtor. I'm not believing a word this guy's saying.
How practical they can be.
All he wants to do is sell the house.
All right, here we go. I'm excited. Oh.
What a layout. You get 3 feet of clearance from your freaking kitchen and immediately a fully blocked off wall. At the bare minimum, could they have just put a railing up to make it look like a more open space? Or is that wall holding up the entire house?
This is a room.
Wow.
That's
Terrible.
A closet. Well, you know what though? One thing I do really like about this is if you can. All right, so change of plans. We actually are going to make fun of people buying these. So yeah, let me know.
Okay, I am so glad it went that way. I had absolutely no idea. Yeah, that thing is hideous. It's disgusting. And it's a joke. It really is just a laughing stock at like people nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the wealthy laughing at us, creating nonsense, trying to maximize profit. $140,000 for an incomplete, half-assed shed? I am sure you can go buy a shed for like $10K that looks better than that. Somebody says, maybe for $140 a month. Yeah, I would consider maybe renting that, as temporary living. But no, I am not buying an Ozempic house. No shot am I spending $140,000 on something they probably put up for like $30K. You know what I'm saying? So it says I'd pay $75,000 max for that, and even that's a bit of a stretch because I think you can get like manufactured homes pretty close to that price. You know what I'm saying? Like just the home itself. I understand you're getting land, but like, what land is there?
You can get this tiny home for $400 a month. All right, let's check out the inside. This one does cost $39,000. It comes with a 55-inch TV. You get your love seat and your bed frame right here. Going to come with a bed. That's where the TV is going to be mounted. Super high ceilings. This is all cedar interior with the mini split AC unit. And then over here you have your little kitchen nook area. Tons of storage for whatever you need. And then you have an induction stove top with your sink and a mini little fridge right here. Oh, it opens from the other side. So you have your mini fridge right here. You got your dual flush toilet and then your tiny little sink right here, medicine cabinet for extra storage, and a pretty nice size shower that actually fits somebody that's 6'2".
Wow.
You don't have to like crouch down to have the shower head, so it's a perfect placement for that. And then you have your AC control right here with a fan remote that controls the ceiling fan as well. And everyone talks about the storage on these units, so here is the storage. This is where you're going to be keeping your clothes.
This has got to be for like one person. Like, were these ever intended to be lived in year round? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really questioning whether these were just made for funsies for people that already have houses and want a toy to go like camping or traveling around the country. So they buy this to take some of their stuff with them, because it just seems a bit unrealistic and a bit difficult. I'm not knocking anybody living in it, because you can certainly make it work. Don't get me wrong. But I've also heard horror stories about finding places to leave that.
Hi everybody, I get lots of questions about this, so here is a quick tour of my tiny house. Over here is my living room with the fan and a hanging chair that is so fun to swing in.
That looks beautiful.
Over here you can see my bar stool seating area and my full kitchen.
That's pretty big.
I have a 3-burner stove and an oven that I use frequently. It attaches to my propane tanks, and then I have all the dishes that you could need. I have an apartment-sized fridge and freezer, and my personal favorite, my espresso bar for lattes in the morning. My barn door hides my bathroom that has my incinerating toilet that runs fully on electricity. I have tons of storage in my medicine cabinet underneath my sink, and I have a huge shower for a tiny house. I do have a tankless hot water heater that attaches to propane, so I never run out of hot water. Here's just another view of my tiny house. I have a 26-foot tiny house just for reference, and here's my cute mirror. I love my stairs with the tiny wood block letters on them. Up here you can see my loft. It's so cute. I feel like I wake up in a treehouse every day. Here you can see my hats that I've decorated on the wall. You know, with limited space, you got to get creative with your decorations and also your storage. And here's Carly. She just loves this blanket. With the tiny house, you got to utilize every inch you can. So I have storage underneath my steps, so you can see all my coats and dresses that I have hanging there. And then here's just an example of my kitchen. And then I have tons of privacy in that I call my garage. This couch is awesome. It can pull out into a double bed. It's from
Oh my gosh. I have that same exact couch. It's from IKEA.
So if I have guests over, if I want to hang out at night, I can come and turn my TV that way and watch movies, or I can turn it back to the kitchen while I'm cooking. So yeah, that's a quick and dirty tour of my tiny house. I have tons of really cool features in this house that I put in. I just didn't have enough time to show them all in my first 2-minute video. So yeah, follow for more. I'm going to be showing off all my really cool features that I've put in. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed and loved the tiny living like Carly and I do. Thanks.
I mean, that thing is phenomenal. That thing is beautiful. But where are you putting it? Is that thing parked in your parents' driveway or on their land? Because otherwise, I'm very confused with how we're doing this. But it is a pretty unique alternative than to renting, because that might be like a 1-bedroom, a fairly large 1-bed, maybe a studio that's converted. And instead of paying, I don't know, what is it now? $1,500 to $2,000 a month for a studio or a 1-bed apartment, you could own your thing. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to live in an apartment for a couple of years, well, here's your way of owning something outright. And then ideally, you'd sell it afterwards, but I don't know how easy tiny homes are to sell.
I'm moving into my parents' garage, and this is how much I'll be paying them in rent. To preface, I'm a 26-year-old registered nurse and single mom, and my daughter and I have been living with my parents for the past 2 years. Since I've been
This sounds like she grew up on Long Island, like where I'm from, because that's where most people end up, you know, moving into their parents' garages or into their basements.
they have charged me $300 for rent and utilities. My parents have a garage, and within that garage is a studio apartment that my daughter and I will be moving into. This studio apartment has everything my daughter and I need: a kitchen, a bedroom, a living room, and a bathroom. Now that I'm moving, I questioned myself that this is going to be increasing my rent, so I brought this up to my parents. They talked amongst themselves, and they decided to keep the rent at $300. Since my rent is
That's a steal. $300 a month? Now, my question to you is, would you ever charge your kids rent, and at what age would you do it? Is that crazy, or is it a part of growing up and learning how to be an adult? Let me know down in the comment section below.
I will be aggressively paying off $60,000 worth of student loan debt that I have from nursing school. I have federal and private loans, but I will be attacking the private loans first because of the high interest rate. I want to add that I am forever grateful for my parents. They have helped me raise my daughter for a total of 3 years, and I do not know where we would be without them. They raised my sister, brother, and I, and gave us the best childhood that they possibly could, and even now that we are in our adulthood, they are still thinking of us and finding ways that they can help us. One day, I hope to pay my parents back in whatever way that looks like, and I hope to be able to one day give my daughter everything that my parents gave me.
Someone says, I can't imagine charging my child and grandchildren to live in their home. My home is their home. I lived at home after graduating nursing school, $90K in 27 months, stayed 6 more months and saved up $40K. 4 years later, bought my house with my honey. 4 years after, paid off parents' mortgage. See, that's like what I'm saying is taking advantage of the opportunity of living at home. You can do it. It is a great way to just stack up a ton of money. Paid off $90,000 and then in 6 more months saved up $40,000. I mean, think about it. Your biggest expense, living expenses, electricity, gas, water bill, shrivels up and to become practically nothing. So you'd have all this surplus money, and as long as you have a paid off car, you could practically save 80% of it. Really, after taxes, it's insane. Anywho, would you guys charge your kids rent? At what age would you do it? After college? If they stay home after high school and don't go to college? Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comment section below. Otherwise, what are your thoughts on living in sheds in 2026? I'm curious what your thoughts are on that too. But with that being said, smash that like button, turn on post notifications, subscribe, and if you haven't seen my new homes in 2026 are absolutely horrible video, definitely make sure to check it out right after this. Peace.
Currently 6 a.m. in the morning. Heather and I had a plan on spraying the home barrier kit literally after I come home from the gym to basically secure our house from any pests that might get in. And as I'm looking at this, see something moving. 6 a.m. in the morning. Look at this bad boy, massive. I don't even know what to do. I shouldn't be doing this. So Pesty, come save me. Oh, what am I supposed to? Oh, it's moving. Oh. Now we definitely have to spray when we come back from the gym in a couple of minutes. That, my friends, is what we call a palmetto bug here in the Carolinas and Florida. If you don't want this problem, make sure to check out Pesty.